Jason, as our show is every week, it is brought to the people by our good friends at Budget Blinds of Lee Summit.
Budget Blinds! Hey, Nick.
Yeah.
On the 24th.
Ooh, what's happening?
Blinds has an event. Pillows and Pinot. You can come in, you design your own fabric for a custom pillow, drapery, shades. You can bring whatever. You get to use the digital fabric tool. You don't have to, you can fiddle with it without buying a pillow, but you come and you pay $50 and you're going to get a pillow as part of the deal. You can buy tickets now if you go to the Facebook website. You get to bring your own ideas, colors. You can bring color matching swatches, whatever you need to do to come in. You get your perfect night out, you get your wine, you get your snacks, get to have fun, and you get a pillow. What more can you ask for?
You can't ask for much more than that. So hit the Budget Blinds of Lee Summit Facebook page, click on the Pillows and Pinot event, get your tickets now. It'll be fun. Hey, and when you're there, tell them Jason and Nick sent you. This week's episode of Lee Summit Town Hall is brought to you by Bridge Space. Bridge Space, the location of the Lee Summit Town Hall studio.
It is true, but there's more to Bridge Space than just the studio for the podcast.
It's also the perfect place for you to host a graduation party for your high school or college graduate.
That is true. They've got all kinds of different packages to deal with your varying party needs. All kinds of different budgets are available. Different parts of the building you can use. All kinds of different stuff. You can bring your own food, or you can have somebody come in and cater. You want to book now, because, well, graduation season is upon us, and you want to have that locked down. But spaces may book up, so you want to get in as you can.
Hey, and how you do that? Well, you hit the website, bridgespace.us/graduation. That'll take you right there. Or if you want to call Bridge Space or hop on down at 210 Southwest Market Street in downtown Lee Summit, go see Amber. She's the one. She'll hook you up for your graduation party at Bridge Space. Give them a call, 816-548-0811.
Hello again, and welcome to Lee Summit Town Hall, a weekly podcast about what you can do to make a difference. I'm Jason Norbury, and as always, I am joined by a man who is going to be so mad after I litter this podcast with Avengers Endgame spoilers.
No!
The publisher of Link to Lee Summit.
Dude, you can't do that to me.
I'm just saying, the love scene between Thor and the Hulk is a little bit weird. It seems like it doesn't add a lot to the movie, but it's artistically well done, so you should enjoy it.
I don't even know what to do with that. Well, I can't wait. I haven't seen it yet, but I hope to, and I hope to soon.
Parker Clan to the movies. Link to Lee Summit is the source for all the news you need about this very, very fine city. Our unofficial sponsor today are gutters. Apparently, as I learned this morning, they work better when they are clear of debris. Who knew?
Who knew, Jason? Who knew? Except for all of us, other homeowners in the world.
I have a porch cover over the portion of my back patio, and there's a gutter on the back, and it tilts a little bit weird, and so the gutter on it just gets stuffed full of leaves and all the whirligigs from the maple trees and what have you. And this morning it was overflowing with water, so I had to reach in the cold morning and clean out the gutter by hand. It was not my favorite thing that I've done this week, I have to admit.
Well, I have the perfect way for you to recover from that kind of duty. You know what it is, Jason? It's this weekend on Saturday in downtown Lee Summit from 1 to 5. It's the inaugural Strother District Brewfest.
By the way, points for the segue on that one. This is the first Brewfest downtown. It's 1 to 5. The money goes to the Downtown Rotary, and they take that money and then they support other nonprofits in the area. It should be a fun time because, honestly, beer's involved. And as has been famously said, all things are made better with beer.
Wow, I can't really argue with that. Hey, if you want to come downtown earlier than that, starting at 7 is the spring celebration at the Downtown Farmers Market.
That's true. You first 200 visitors are going to get an insulated market bag. I have like 4 of these in my collection over the years. We love them. They're great for picking up the groceries. And honestly, even if you don't get a bag, there's lots of good stuff to buy at the market, so you should go get some.
And
There's even more.
and well, this one you got to wait a little bit. This one's not till the 18th.
You have built up all the suspense. And
I know.
No, wait.
I know. It's what I do. It is what I do. Hey, the annual Big Truck and Equipment Show is coming up in front of City Hall on May 18th. Jason, this is a really cool one if you want to take the family. Kids love it. They get a chance. They can climb up in the big truck, sit in the driver's seat. It's pretty fun.
Can't argue with that. Kids love the big trucks and the big equipment. That's always a fun time.
Can I be honest with you? I kind of like it too.
Me too. Well, honestly, I think that's just going to show we've never really matured past childhood. We've just gotten larger and older.
Well, that also is true.
All right, so what's going on this week, Nick?
Well, Jason, it's time.
Is it time for the return?
It's time for the return of the show that we have no intro music for because, well, I'm a really bad producer.
That is true. You are overpaid.
That's very true.
And I'm underpaid, so it all works out well.
Well, let's look at City Council and some of the things that are going on. I think the big thing, Jason, right now is tonight, or well, as we're recording, this is Wednesday's show, but we recorded on Tuesday night. City Council heard a presentation from staff with proposed language coming up for the August election for a no tax increase bond issue. We started talking a little bit about this before, Jason, in previous shows, and what they're looking at and some projects to do around the city.
That is true. And the council's presentation, or the staff's presentation tonight, included, I think, the big hits from our prior two new fire stations, a rebuild of Fire Station 4 and Fire Station 5. Fire Station 4 is in the Lakewood area, and Fire Station 5 is down south. Some in-car video replacement and some body-worn cameras, as well as renovations to the police headquarters and court building. And then a little bit of other stuff on network infrastructure, some new fiber laying, that kind of stuff, as well as putting some money towards enhancing the city's curb replacement program.
And I think that was, Jason, one of the few areas that I think maybe there was a little bit of, I don't want to even say contention, but I think there's going to be some discussion when this comes back next week for the second reading and approval about how much of these projects they're going to do. I think some of that might be around some of the curb stuff.
And there was some discussion tonight about whether to have this as one question on, can we put this under one question under the ballot language rules, or does it need to be in multiple questions on the ballot as a whole? So those are things that it'll come back. It has to be approved before the 28th of May to make the August ballot. And an interesting little piece of...
trivia time?
No, just a little piece of procedural nerdery. Because
we love this
special election and an August special election, it's not just a majority vote that would carry. It has to be a 4/7 margin, which is math that is far more complicated than I wish to do, but it's more than 50%. Have to approve of the vote by the people to get this approved.
This is of the general election, not at City Council.
Not at City Council. But with 4/7 of the vote of the people in August will be there. So just that's something that comes up on a regular basis. But it's because it's not during either the municipal general election or the general election. It gets that higher approval hurdle that it has to clear. So little piece of information.
Great note, Jason. Looks likely that will be on the ballot. Looks like that will probably get through City Council in the next coming weeks, maybe even next week. So people should be aware of that. They should start looking in. All of the documents are available at the city's website. They can download, take a look at the presentation, take a look at the language of that goes with the projects that they are proposing get taken care of with these funds.
And if history speaks, the city will prepare a quote informational video on the bond questions that will be available, and there'll be presentations at some groups, and we may even see a kick in from some of our local groups like foundations or what have you, if this is a project that they feel strongly that they want to make sure is supported. So. I think the other big thing that's floating around isn't actually at council itself, is there is a report that has been prepared, a draft report on affordable housing in Lee Summit. It's a very large report. It's a couple hundred pages long, I think, in the end. But it is available on the city's website. But I think the big thing for this is there's been a lot of work. There's been a couple of rounds of public input. But now the draft report is out, and there is a public meeting that will be Wednesday, May 8th. So today, as we are releasing this at 4 o'clock in the City Council chambers at City Hall, that people can give feedback, or you can go online to the city's website or send comments in writing by email to city staff to have comments about what's in that. There isn't a lot that's all that particularly enthralling, but the executive summary, I took a good look at that a little bit earlier, and it's got a couple of nice tables to kind of see the issues that they were tackling, and then you can see those related to some things that they may want to do at the city level to improve access to housing in the city.
What were some of those I guess higher level issues that were noted in there? I think just maybe to give people kind of a feel for what we're really talking about here and what issues they're trying to solve.
All right, so I'm going to use a phrase that gets a lot of political blowback, but I'm going to define it real quick, just in this term. So one of the things is talking about making the housing affordable. So there's just, according to this, one of the issues that they're out there is a lack of affordable housing. And by affordable housing means is it's basically all the academic literature says that if your mortgage payment or your rent payment is more than 30% of your income, the default rates on that go up a lot at that point. So 30% is kind of the target cap, and there's not enough housing in the city that is available at that 30% for all of the people in the city. So there's not a breadth of those cost options that are out there that matches the economics of the city itself. So that's one. And then there's some, how to deal with the rising costs of living in the housing, lack of temporary housing options for people who are in transition, those sorts of things, and some other comments about, things that I know that'll shock everyone who lives in Summit, that we don't have very much public transportation, and some things of that sort. But that's there in the executive summary, and I think it does a pretty good job of seeing kind of at least a first gloss of what the major issues are.
And once again, this is just another good opportunity for people to get involved in the process, to give their feedback and input to the city, so they can head to the website and make their voice heard that way. Well, Jason, that really wraps things up for this week. What I want to do now is take a little bit of time I want to thank some people, and I want to do a little bragging, and then I want to do a little bit of teasing.
All right, that's a lot of emotions you're going to run me through.
All right, well, look, I'm all about the feels. Hey, first off, this is Teacher Appreciation Week. I'm married to a teacher. I was raised by a teacher. I have lots of family that are teachers.
So do you really appreciate them, or do you just take them for granted at this point, since they're sort of permanently in your life?
That probably depends on what day you're asking me.
How mad Mrs. Lincoln sometimes.
Right. Yeah, I'm pretty sure there are times that I probably take it for granted, and there are times I appreciate it. But here's my question to you, Jason. Is there a teacher that sticks out in your mind, somebody that really made an impact in your life?
There is. There's a couple, actually. I think one is a third grade teacher I had at Hale Cook Elementary School in Waldo, way back in the dark ages, it feels like, anyway. She was the first teacher, I think, that I really remember that really, pushed my interests and really kind of pushed me to excel in school. And then another one that really has had a really, really long-term ongoing impact is the theater teacher, the theater professor from my college, Sandy Havens, who's an amazing human being, married to arguably an even more amazing human being, but he was so good and so gracious, and continues to be even 25 years, and I can't believe I have to say that out loud after I'm done with college. He continues to be someone that I communicate with and draw inspiration from.
Well, I have a similar story. I don't have an answer for my elementary through high school years, and I'm going to say that is mostly not because of the teachers I had, but because I was a bad student and I didn't do well.
I was an ill-behaved honorable student, so I don't know which of us was worse.
Yeah, well, so college to me was big, and I have a similar story in that there was my advisor, Dr. Chad Stebbins, who to this day is still a close friend. We stay in tight contact. We talk a lot, but he made an impact. He's who steered me, kind of brought me into the world of newspapers and journalism, and really pushed all of his students to always strive for more, to be better, and the importance of telling stories. So I hope that what I'm doing now kind of makes him proud and pleased with what I'm doing after his education. So a thank you to him and to all of our teachers.
You're not the only of these podcast hosts that does have a teacher at home. So because my kids are homeschooled, my wife does all the educational teaching stuff that goes on through that, and it. If the roles were reversed, I'm fairly certain that I would be a massive and utter failure as a homeschool teacher. So I'm glad that she's there, and she's doing a marvelous job with our kids as well. I'm not sure they're any more or less unruly than the bunch that your wife has to deal with on a day-to-day basis. Just there's many fewer.
All right, here we go. I'm going to do a little bragging. This is the bragging time. So a few weeks ago, we had our Live Next Cancer Awareness event. My wife, who did this as part of celebrating, one of the things she said was, if we can have one person who catches something because they came and got their mammogram or they got the skin screening, then it's success. Well, guess what?
What is that?
One person that we know of so far took the scan. The doctor said, hey, come back and see me. I want to do a biopsy. Turns out it was a cancer cell. They're doing the surgery. They think everything is going to be great. They think they're going to be able to get it and be done. But that tells me it's a good thing that we had that available, because somebody caught it and caught it early.
That is true. You have improved the world's health outcomes, and that is a pretty impressive feat in this day and age. So kudos to Mrs. Link to Lee Summit, and kudos to you, Nick.
Thank you.
That last bit really pains me.
I wanted to do that little bit of bragging, and now I want to do a little bit of a tease. Our Friday conversation this week, I think it's going to be fun. Rachel Segovia from Lee Summit Cares is going to join us, and we're going to talk about the Got Talent, the annual Got Talent competition that is coming up at Lee Summit High School. And joining her is going to be, she's going to bring a past winner, and live, actually we won't be live, but live to recording from Las Vegas is Lee Summit's own Matt Lewis, who's a judge and host for this program, and also a world-famous Elvis impersonator.
This is true, and Rachel is always a wonderful guest to have on the program. I'm a little jealous that you get to do this interview, and I'm not there for it. That's okay. It sounds like you get a good bunch, and the Got Talent program is always it's pretty cool to see what the folks here in the city come up with.
So that's coming up. That will wrap up our show for this week. Join us on Friday for that Friday conversation with Rachel and some people from the Got Talent competition. This is going to be fun. We'll talk to you all on Friday. Today's episode of Lee Summit Town Hall is brought to you by Shred KC. Jason, I don't know if I can say I'm shredding it, but I'm dropping it. The LBs, they keep falling.
That's impressive. I usually when you lose stuff, it's far more missed than weight. So I'm glad that you are doing that, and it's really cool. Actually, I'll say this has really been really fun to watch you engage with the process and really appreciate the gains that you have, not just in our ads, but actually in just the day-to-day conversations that we have.
Right now, they have they're getting ready to kick off a 21-day keto challenge. So if you think this would be a good way to jumpstart your own journey into health and fitness, here's a good way to do it. They're starting that now. You can go to 21dayshred.com, and you can get started. Or go see Ryan downtown Lee Summit at his Shred Gym.
Make sure you tell him the Nick and Jason sent you.
You have been listening to Lee Summit Town Hall, a Link to Lee Summit podcast with hosts Nick Parker and Jason Norberry. A proud member of the Fredcast Network, you can subscribe to this podcast on most of your favorite podcast apps and catch us every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday for all the news, analysis, and conversations on the Lee Summit community. Connect with us on Facebook at Link to Lee Summit or on Twitter at LS Town Hall.